Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button to extend that S. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We trained over 1 million producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. We have 3 confirmed Grammy winners and multi-platinum plaque winning producers. So let's hop into the DAW, and I want to show you guys the principles on how to learn how to get good at music production today. Not tomorrow, not in 30 days, not in 90 days, not in 10,000 hours, okay? It comes down to principles. Now, the key mistake here that you guys will fall into is thinking you have to learn everything about everything. You're gonna watch every video about FL Studio. You're gonna watch every video about music theory, every video about arrangement. You don't have to have every approach to everything, okay? That's what's confusing you the most. I'll prove it today. So let's go to the channel rack here. We're gonna click this plus icon and go to flex. I'll show you guys, we can literally take the basic principles and make a beat very simply. Let's go to where it says library. We're gonna go to where it says core bass. Click on where it says bass BB flat. Now we're not gonna use this as a bass. We're gonna use it as an electric guitar. So let's go to edit, turn off the limiter. Okay, so let's right click, go to piano roll. And now we're gonna create what are called simple chords using what are called chord codes. So I teach a very different system than traditional music theory. We do cover traditional music theory, but I don't do it the way people teach you. So for example, if you want to make what's called a chord or a 3-note triad, we can start anywhere on the keyboard. So for example, I'm going to start here at E. Okay, this is a very common starting point for modern melodies today. So if we want to create, there's 2 main chord types. You have major chords, you have minor chords. There's only one difference between them. So a minor chord code is 037. Let me show you guys on my chord codes app at busyworksbeats.com. Literally, I'm going to close my eyes. Okay, and I just happened to land on E. That was not planned. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is count up note by note until we finish out the chord code. So the chord code for a minor chord is 037. Wherever you start is 0, the root note, because there's no distance from this point. Now we're going to count up our keyboard. 0, 1, 2, 3. It's called a minor third. 4, 5, 6, 7. There you have the E minor triad, just like that. That always makes a minor chord no matter where you are on the keyboard. To prove it, I'm going to close my eyes. Literally, you guys can see my eyes are closed. I don't know what note I am. I could guess what note I'm on, but it doesn't matter. So here we call this 0, and then we're going to count up each note. So including the black notes, we're going to count note by note. So this is 0, 1. Just got to make sure I'm not skipping notes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the minor third if I didn't miss a key. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then play all these notes together. It's a minor chord all of the time. 037 always creates a minor chord. What separates a minor chord from a major chord is 047. Okay, so you're just counting the 4 instead of 3. So that's the only difference between those chords. So most chords have that DNA inside. So now that you understand the chord codes, that bypasses scales, that bypasses, relative systems, nomenclature, all the stuff that make you think you have to learn. You can skip right past that. Okay, so here's the root note, and let's count up 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. And then let's go to 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom. We now have a minor chord. Now, if you don't know where to go from here, I'll give you guys a blueprint. Let's turn the velocity down here. It's a little loud. We're going to copy this chord, hit shift, pull it up to the top note here, which is called the 5th. Okay. And then we're going to just literally transpose the same chord. Now, what this really is, if you're a deep music theory person, this is really just a chord extension split into 2 halves. Okay, now the question is, where do you go from here? So you take the third, or this middle note of that 5th chord, okay, you take that, and then you make the opposite chord type. So instead of minor, you're going to make a major chord. So let's pull this down an octave and count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to do the same thing. Copy this chord from D and then paste it up to the 5th here, which is 7 notes away from the root note. Just copy it and paste it. You now have chord progressions without knowing any scales, knowing any nomenclature, no number system, no 2-5-1, even though people are being lazy with that. So now what we're going to do is create a line. So basically, I don't want any notes to go above B. So I'm going to take all the notes above B and hit control down. This is going to change what's called the voicing of the chord. So this is what levels you up past simple chords like major and minor. This is how you get into different expressions of the same chord. This is called chord voicing. So now it has a more glued together sound. Now, if you struggle with bass lines, I'm going to give you guys a formula. So let's take all these bottom notes, hit Control C. We're going to right click, hit clone. We're going to go back to the piano roll. Anytime you copy notes from the piano roll, you have to paste them back into the piano roll. If you copy from the channel rack, you have to paste into the channel rack. We're just going to hit Control down. So we're literally copying and pasting the bottom notes here for the bass. Now what you can do to spice up your bass is a couple things. I'm just going to give you guys rules of thumb, not that you have to do it. Okay. So we're going to take the root note. You can go up a half step. This is called the sharp tonic. Okay. Or you can take the root note and count up 7 notes from here, which is called the perfect fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can also add what's called a sharp fifth, 1 note above the fifth. And then you can use what's called the octave, which is the same note above and below here. And then again, a sharp octave in that case. So these are the pivot notes you can use in your bass line whenever your guys are stuck. So you just have to make sure you're doing it per the note in the bass. Okay. So if I wanted to like fancy this bass up, I might add like an octave. Now from here, I might, because the octave might be too high, let's use the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then here I might switch it up. Instead of using the fifth, I might use the sharp fifth. That didn't flow right, so let's just pull it back. Now my ear wants to hear some kind of walk up. So let me just show you guys an additional thing. You can walk up what's called chromaticism. You could use chromaticism to walk up note by note until you finish into the final note. This is beyond the scope of this video, but it's just something to understand in bass in general. See how it's like. So that's a very common thing to do in bass, is walk up. So now you guys understand the bass formula. That's all you really need to know in bass. There's not much else you need to know. Now let's talk about drums. So there's 4 components here, and this will help you guys with arrangement. You have what's called top line, you have what's called the harmony, you have what's called the contrast layer, and you have what's called the rhythm section. So all these add up to a full composition, whether melody or full song. So now we need to start separating the sounds. So here, I don't recommend you guys produce all in one pattern unless you understand what you're doing. So if you happen to have done that, it's okay. Just right click up here, go to split by channel, and this will separate everything into its own pattern. Very important for arrangement purposes. So now we have the chords separated from the bass. So if I go to song mode, I can play the bass without the chords playing. So now I can see visually what we actually have in this song. So I'm showing you guys everything derives from the chords, and the only chords there are to know really are the major and minor. I know there's more chords like suspended chords, augmented chords, diminished chords, but I'm talking about on a root level. Understanding the major and minor third is pretty much all you need to know with the chords. I have a whole system going over that, but it's at busyworksbeats.com/premium. Let's paste the chords in here. What we're going to do is create what's called the top line. The top line is your memorable melody, usually repeats in 3s. Your harmony is your glue to your track. This is your chords. Your contrast layer is the density to your track. It's usually the bass, and the rhythm section is the thing that creates the perception of time. Okay, so what we're going to do is create a top line. So we're going to take the same exact chords. You can pull them up an octave just so the ear differentiates between the chords and the melody. And all we're going to do is just move notes around. So we're going to give them a time. Now in this case, we're going to just play downwards. Whenever you go downward, you create a sadness type of feel. Whenever you go upward with your melody, you create a happy feel. So now we have a composition already using the same instrument, just in 3 different purposes. So from here, you want to focus on rhythm. The only rhythm you guys have to know, and again, I'd recommend you guys spend 1 to 2 whole days looking for all types of drum kits in every genre you could think of, because drums, that's where you can have an infinite collection of drums. So let me show you guys. Let's just use some trap drums. I'll give you guys the project file. We're gonna right click, open a new channel. Okay, to open up these sounds. So we just want a kick, hi-hat, snare. You can use an 808 as a kick nowadays. Okay, the 808s don't always have to be tonally right. So some 808s like this one are more like a kick. It's very short. It does have a tone, however. So here's the pattern you need to understand when it comes to drums. It is extremely simple. For the hi-hats, we're just gonna right click, fill each 2 steps, and add this in. Now you start here, but you can add little jumps in between here. Now notice I'm not teaching you guys about all the functions of FL Studio. We don't need all the functions to get this done. Now in the top right, you have a graph editor. You can go to note repeat. This is really good for hi-hat glitches. So it just switches up the hi-hat, so it's not repeating the whole time. Let's go to pattern 5. Notice I'm separating all the patterns. Now for the snare drum, all you have to know is if you're doing traditional trap, you put the snare in the 3 and the 7 count. If you don't know what that means, turn the metronome on and count. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's on the 3 and the 7. That's called traditional trap bounce. If you're trying to create like a Playboy Cardi bounce, you're going to put it on different placements. So instead of 3 and 7, you might do 3 and 6 or 3 and 8. You know, it comes from UK drill, these timings. So here's what it sounds like in context. The 3 and 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you struggle with drums, keep the metronome on for timing purposes. Now on pattern 7, we're going to do 3 and 8 to give you guys an understanding of what the difference is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what is the more modern approach, is to switch up the snare timing to 3 and 6 or 3 and 8. And some people may add little in-between claps. There's no rules for the in-between stuff though. So we're using 3 different snare patterns here. I'm going to show you guys how we can combine the 808. It's extremely simple. It's called tresillo, tre-si-o, tre-si-o, like that. So it's just 3 notes. Now tresillo, you can move it around. It could be boom, tre-si-o, boom, tre-si. So tresillo doesn't have to be on the start, and you don't always have to have all 3 notes to create tresillo. But once you understand this pattern, it's everywhere. So let's do boom, tre-si-o, like that. Now you can double up notes. There's no rules from this point. Now repeating the same pattern over and over gets a little repetitive. So we're going to click here in the top left, go to make unique. Just like that, we have a pattern. Now we could take this, further. But I'm just showing you guys there's a formula to all of this. You don't need to spend 30 days learning production, 90 days, 10,000 hours. It's not true. If you followed every step in this video, how long is this video? In 14 minutes, you can learn how to make beats, okay? So share this with a friend and help them out. Go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio to learn how to make beats like the pros. Peace out, guys.